Oh, thank you so much. So first of all, I want to apologize because I won't be able to show my face because I'm actually in the call because I had to log in for the presentation after picking the kid from school. So I can't step into the house because they'll be so noisy. So I'll be presenting from the car. So my presentation is started an inside hope for an eco-feminist because we heard from different speakers a little bit more on what the climate change is happening right now. But for me, I prepared the presentation much more in a form of really highlighting the role of women, but most importantly, what can we do and how can we work together in having a concrete hope for our future. So allow me to start by sharing a little bit of my story. So I mean, as said, my name is Ineza. I am from a small country located in Africa called Rwanda. At this country, we did less to contribute to the current climate crisis impact, but yet we are at the front line of experiencing all the negative impact of climate change. So my story. I was 5 years old. I didn't have to be woken up by my mom in the middle of the night to save my life because due to intensive rainfall associated with wind, my house ceiling got destroyed and my mom had to wake me up. And I just remember being woken up and just feeling that I am in the middle of the lake. So growing up, I didn't know much more about climate change, but I understood that this was a natural disaster. So to my surprise, when I was finishing high school, I saw on the television a particular area in my country, women and children were being forced to move based on the fact that there was having erosion and flooding at that moment. So for me, seeing on the television that most of the people who are being forced to migrate from one area to another were women and children, it kind of reminded me of my personal experience. And that is the day that I choose to change my name from choose to be always presenting myself as an eco-feminist, because women are prone to the negative impact of climate change in the sense that we are left out in most of the space where the decisions are being made around climate change solution, but we are also at the forefront of negative effects when they occur. So for example, these are the picture from my country. Okay, so Rwanda is vulnerable in terms of climate change negative impact in form of having, we are vulnerable in form of having a lot of flooding, erosion, drought, and flooding. So for example, in 2021, we lost more than 4,000 hectares of land, agricultural land in our community. And for me, when I hear that kind of news, how do I translate it? I translate it in the fact that we are losing more than a social income of the community, and being Rwanda being a country where our GDP rely a lot on agriculture, it means that we are losing our GDP. And the fact that we have more women in our community, more women are small-scale farmers, and they're located in the rural area. So this means that we are pushing more women to be at the verge of not being able to be economically stable. And these are the result of the thing, or that these are due to the fact that they are simply vulnerable because of the social economic imbalance in the system, but yet they are trying to survive to their best. So from what we are hearing on the news currently, so we know that events such as cyclone, wildfire, floods, desertification are the common reality. And we are seeing on the news, for example, from the flooding that happened in Pakistan, more the one who are the forefront are women, because in the event where we are having flooding, women are the one who are to be left out, because most of the time they don't have, for example, access on the weather forecasting news, and they will be left out in the sense that they're going to be having a lot of to bear in terms of social role that women hold in every society, and they're going to be much more vulnerable in sense that they're going when they're going to be moved from one area to another. Women are also tend to due to climate change impact, they also tend to kind of be prone to gender-based violence. So all those factors tend to really point women to be vulnerable. So where do I stand as an eco-feminist? So I stand in the sense that I understand all that imbalance, and I want just to remind women and especially young people that there's a sense of hope that we should all be having, because my title is like where I put it is like eco-feminist. So the first one is eco, where I believe in the ecosystem. So whichever pain or disaster we cause to our ecosystem, we are able to generate it back. And the feminist part is to really remind ourselves that as women, we are standing to be leaders, and we can be drivers of solution in our community. So I am part of the Loss and Damage Youth Coalition, which is a coalition of more than 400 young people from both the global north and the global south, aiming to really hold leaders accountable in taking action to address loss and damage. So loss and damage, what means by loss and damage? Loss and damage means to all the negative impact of climate change that cannot longer be mitigated or adapted for. And we are standing as the generation that is going to be much more prone to this impact, because as we heard from different previous speakers, the current science is really stated that our planet is at crisis and we need action. And there's no way we can have action if we're not really engaging with those who are marginalized and those who are not having proper representation in the process. So from all the different areas, we know that women are the one left out. And once we are demanding for having action to address loss and damage, we are also demanding for having a proper inclusiveness of women and youth in this forum. So we stand as a coalition that is putting together what we are calling a way that we're going to know if the upcoming climate change summit that's going to happen in November is going to be successful. And part of the thing that we are putting forward as a demand is to see a proper integration of women and gender into the context of climate action. So we need to see more than ever now that leaders are going to be willing to take concrete action in putting gender equity at the heart in climate action. So that is a very ambitious goal and ambition call. But we hope that from experience from different countries, including Rwanda, where we mean that women inclusion and youth inclusion is not going to be tokenistic, it's going to stand as a way to help other countries learn and help having a common call of action for women and youth inclusion in climate action. So depending because the climate change is quite a little bit of hard for most of us to navigate. So we are a coalition having different aspiration in terms of dividing our work in terms of having different clusters. So we have a cluster that is aiming on storytelling. So that's important in the sense that it can also allow each and everyone to know how we can support this global call. So the first, the storytelling aims to create a platform where we are able to share the perspective of climate action in a youth and gender perspective. So this has been allowing us to know to have a way to share concretely human lived experience on the climate change impact. And this factor of sharing human lived experience also allow us to know, to tap into what we are having as a gap in terms of data, because we know from where we are coming from. We've been we've been we've been called to be having the lack of data in our demands, in sense that we don't know how many women are going to be prone. So when we are emphasizing on the fact of having storytelling, we are aiming to be able to create a face on how women should be included and how women are vulnerable and how we can all be actors. So for the coming COP27, this is the pre-final slide. So as a coalition, we are putting together what we are going to be using as a measurement to know if COP27 is going to be successful. So part of it is including having an open letter. And the open letter is, we have a specific demand where we want to ensure that every decision that's going to be on climate action is going to be inclusive on gender. So you can find out more on our website. And part of us understanding that for climate justice for us to be achieved is going to be achieved once we address loss and damage systematically and critically. So we started a loss and damage finance now campaign, where we are inviting every organization, every young person, and everyone to really support this demand, because we know that those who have been left out for quite some time are the ones to drive action. And it's not a surprise that those many who were left out were women, but now women are on the front line in a sense. So for example, in a coalition, we understand the gender imbalance, but we understand it in a sense that we are able to use it in a manner that is going to allow us to create concrete hope in our community. So that is what I was preparing to share, and I apologize for really the noise and the background, but I hope I was able to be useful. Thank you so much for the opportunity.